What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna do a different style video. It's really just me inside the car talking to you guys, but I want to do a video just really talking about why I bought a Jeep Wrangler, or how I really wound up inside this Jeep. In order for me to tell the story, I kind of have to go way back in time. Not really that far back, but when I was still in college and I had my first, I guess, big boy car, of a car that I actually went out and I financed. It was my Mazda 6, 2009. Had that for about 2 years, and I was looking to get out of that vehicle and then buy something different. At the time, I was really cross-shopping, a lot of trucks, because, I really wanted a lifted truck. In particular, I wanted a Dodge Ram. So this was around late 2014, real early 2015. I was looking for a used Dodge Ram. I know I wanted something at the time. I was looking for around a 2010, 2011-ish year. So I really wanted something that was, a truck. I really wanted at the time, a diesel, but, price range, I was trying to find something that was, more than likely a gas truck that I could do upgrades to, lift it and do all this other stuff to it. But I was really, my heart was set on getting a Dodge Ram. At the time, I went to a couple different dealerships looking at a couple different Dodge Rams and a couple different trucks. One dealership that I went to in particular, they had, I believe it was either 2010 or 2009. It was all white, low miles Dodge Ram. It came with the cap that's on the back of the truck. So when I got into that truck, drove it around, did the test drive, it was low mileage, everything seemed fine, but it was just something about it, I just really didn't like driving it. Granted though, I wasn't, test driving the newest ones, but test driving trucks of that era, I just really didn't enjoy driving it that much. I wasn't really set on getting that one, but they so happened to have a Jeep Wrangler on their lot as well. It was the used one. So 2007, that one already had a small lift kit on it and some small upgrades to it. Little did I know that was going to start me on a obsession with Jeeps. Before then, I really didn't have much experience or really looked at Jeeps at all. I mean, back when I was, I think, either a senior in high school, I briefly had a thing for oh yeah, that'd be cool to buy a Jeep. And then I started looking up prices and I realized, wow, they're still really expensive. So I had no previous interest in Jeeps or anything like that at all. It wasn't until I just saw this Jeep, I got into it, did a test drive. Me and my now fiance, we just kind of looked at each other and we both were just smiling while we were driving it. We were like, wow, this is really cool. So that kind of set me on my path of really liking Jeeps. Now, I know I've said the story many times before on my channel, so I'll just say it real quick. I did buy that Jeep, but it turned out that Jeep had so many problems with it. It was used. It did have over 100,000 miles on it. It just had so many problems that the dealer essentially bought it back from me because they couldn't fix the problems that it was having. And at the time, I really needed a reliable vehicle to get to and from work. I mean, that's pretty a normal thing. You want a reliable vehicle. So the dealership wound up buying it back from me. And that's how I eventually wound up inside my Camaro that I had. So I only had that Jeep for around a week and a half. But in that short time frame, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with just the Jeep life, and I fell in love with just everything that Jeeps just kind of stood for. When I got out of that Jeep and I got into the Camaro, I wanted something completely different. Sports car, manual, two-door coupe. Because, I was still kind of missing driving a two-door coupe because I did have a two-door coupe beforehand. And I kind of wanted just to have that feel back again. But yeah, so I had the Camaro for a while, around a little bit over a year or so. And after having that Camaro, and I made a lot of videos on my channel about the Camaro. So if you're looking for that type of stuff, check out some of my earlier videos. You'll see all that stuff. But yeah, I drove that Camaro in the snow, daily drove it, did everything with it, and I did document it pretty well. But yeah, it just came a point in time where I was looking to just go back inside a completely different direction. In the back of my mind, I was still thinking about the Jeep and what it represented and how much I really liked it just in that short amount of time. And plus, living somewhere where it snows a lot during the winter and just having to drive far in the winter, I really wanted something that was better in the snow. something that had more room. And ultimately I was kind of leaning back towards having like a lifted truck or some vehicle of that nature. I kind of found myself leaning more towards that as a daily driver. So fast forward, when I was looking around trying to see what other vehicles I could get or what I really wanted to buy, I was cross shopping, a lot of different stuff. I was looking at FJ Cruisers, Tacomas, looking at Dodge Rams as well. Was looking at some other sports cars. I really was looking at Challengers because I wanted something bigger than the Camaro, just to have something that was a little bit easier to daily drive. But I really don't like the older interiors of the Challengers. I really like the new generation of Challengers, but I really wanted to step up to a V8 because my Camaro was a V6, and just finding a V8 Challenger of the newer generation, then I didn't want to spend the money on it. So so that kind of eliminated that. I was looking at a EcoBoost Mustang for a while, but ultimately I realized that I didn't want to get from one coupe to another coupe and it still not be the V8. So that's the reason why I just completely went away from that, and I really wanted to focus on trying to get a SUV, something that's much more practical, just daily driving. So anyways, now I was looking at a lot of FJ Cruisers, and it really came down to, I really did narrow it down to either getting an FJ Cruiser or getting a Jeep Wrangler. I did a video on my channel too, talking about the differences and why I chose a Jeep over the FJ Cruiser. So if you're looking for that, you can check that video out. But so when I was looking for the perfect vehicle to buy, I didn't want something that was super new. I wanted something that was obviously used and something that wasn't super expensive, because I wanted to find a vehicle that I could pay off in a couple years and not have to worry about it. So I didn't want to buy like the newest generation. I wanted to buy something relatively used, but not high mileage at all. But just trying to find a lot of FJ Cruisers. A lot of them were just, the price was just way too high for the amount of miles that they had on them. I know that the FJ Cruiser, they're not making it anymore, their value is going up, but I didn't really find that to be justified for the price that they were asking for some of them. For that same amount of money, I can go and buy another sports car with a lot of less miles on it. So I just didn't really find that to be really the best option. But then it came down to this Jeep. It just so happened that when I was looking around online, doing cross shopping and everything, I saw this Jeep. It was at a dealership, the same dealership actually where I bought my Mazda 6 from, and I had a great experience when I bought the Mazda. They were totally chill. The way that they work is they don't work off commission. They pretty much have the car listed at their price, and that's pretty much it. They can't really negotiate because it's like the lowest end that they can get it. And when I saw my Jeep, it was priced really well. It was a stock Jeep. It wasn't molested and modified, and that is one thing I did want, because going back to the other one, it was modified and some of the modifications weren't the best. So I didn't really want to jump into that, having another Jeep that had bad modifications on it. So when I saw this one, completely stock, priced really well, and it had low miles for the year. And then when I went to go look at this Jeep, I really saw how clean this Jeep really was, and that there's barely any rust, if there's any at all. Especially for living inside Western New York. If you guys know, we're like in the Rust Belt, really. So a lot of cars and SUVs, stuff like that, they get rusted out really quickly. But this one is extremely clean underneath. Checked out the engine, checked out the transmission, checked out all the major components. Yes, I know I did do a video about the 5 things I forgot to check when I bought this Jeep. Those are small little things. But overall, the major components of this Jeep, it's honestly, this is a pretty rock solid Jeep, especially for 2010. And I do know that the 2010 and 2011, they're kind of the undesirable years, because the 2010 is the last year of this interior. The 2011, they have the newer interior, but with the older engine. They didn't put the new engine inside the Jeep until 2012. So I know that these 2 years are kind of the less desirable years. So that did attribute to why this Jeep was, priced lower than a lot of other Jeeps. But yeah, so when I went to dealership, checked it out and just drove it and did the test drive, and honestly everything just felt right. That kind of made the decision for me. So yeah, so I know that's a whole long roundabout way of just really telling you guys why I bought this Jeep. Like I said in that other video that I did with the FJ Cruiser, if I would have found a low miles FJ Cruiser around the same year, for the same money, would I have bought that instead? maybe not. I don't know. I do like FJ Cruisers a lot, but ultimately I'm 100% happy with my decision. But anyway, so if you guys stuck with me throughout this whole thing, thank you so much. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a like. Check out some of the other videos that I've done. I've done a lot of other videos on this Jeep, and I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more. So if you like this type of stuff, check out my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.